Yo, what's happening, world? Name's Raheem Flowers, and I'm seeing an influx of these simp ass niggas in my era. I mean, shit. You know, what also prompted me to bring this up more importantly, it was a pivotal point I made with my girl. And I was telling her, I'm not even gonna lie to you, because I had a huge discussion. I think that you want me to be on some simp shit at times. And then, we got in this huge argument slash debate, and she was telling me about the whole gentleman role, and that's not equivocal to being a simp, which I have conceded to. To be honest with you, I'm the one who put her on that term, simp. So, obviously I know what it is more than you because I'm the one who introduced you to that term. And this is how I look at simps. Because that word has become misconstrued and misused and used loosely, just like the word coon, just like the word classic, just like the word homophobe, just like the word Islamophobe, just like the word anti-Semitic, just like the word classic, hater. It's just become a diatribe, stigma after a certain point in time. But it is a word that needs to be said and they need to be called out. This is how I look at a simp. A simp is an individual who overcompensates the role of a gentleman. How do they do that? By propping these women up, telling them what they want to hear, and going an extra mile to give them things materialistically. Purses, money, jewelry, cars, etc. And then they give them that sweet talk, a bunch of sweet nothings. And it's not even coming from a sincere place. So when you think about it, from a passive aggressive, reverse psychological standpoint, a simp is basically like a rapist. A simp is a rapist in a shiny suit. And, I thought about something else. Niggas like Young Pharaoh and Angel Ramirez and Dr. Boyce Watkins. These Negroes. They out here doing that simp shit. Propping up these black women. Whether it be Boyce Watkins propping up Zaza Ali. Whether it be Young Pharaoh coming at Negroes like Tommy and saying that he was gonna beat his ass for disrespecting that black woman who ran into his car, and then Tommy decided to publicize that shit, and that went viral, circulated, and got to World Star, that broad and that incident. Or whether it be a Theo Wilson, they're all describing the black woman as this precious figure who does no wrong, and they look at black woman as God. Said it before and I'll say it again. In this contemporary era that we live in, if the black woman is God, obviously these broads are exuding the acts and personify Asura. She is Asura, Hindu god of destruction. Yep. On top of that, when I heard Young Pharaoh running his mouth, talking like he just a top flight gangster, and this dude cannot be touched in the streets, and he will just knock your ass out on sight, let him tell it. When you got dudes like that, and then you have these women out here egging you on, gassing you up to fight another person, I gotta say this to you ladies. That is a clear testament that you don't give a fuck about other men, and more specifically in this case, about black men. If there's dissension and conflict caused between one another, when you can break that up, but rather you rather see a Mandingo fight, you rather see these dudes fight on some gladiator shit, you rather just do all those things and make your pussy wet. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I mean, that's how I look at it. It's just a series of events that keep going on. We got too many Drakes and Angel Ramirez's out here in the world that's telling these women what they want to hear and removing them from accountability. They're removing them from accountability because they yearn for power. That men know this. It's one thing about men. Men have a tendency to be power hungry. And in search of being power hungry, they do it in hopes of obtaining that power, rather. They do that to garner attention, love and respect and whatnot from women, because they know that women are just attracted to power due to their hypergamous nature. I mean, I don't care how you look at power, whether we want to talk about militant might, whether we want to talk about money, fame, equity / wealth and resources, knowledge, whatever that context of power may be. That's what they look for. This is just a fact of life. And I really do point the finger on these motherfuckers for making the world the way it is now. I mean, women have to take accountability for it and need to be called out on it, because these same women who talk about they love their men, this, that, and the third, but you don't ever call these broads out who want to put their baby daddies on child support, and don't think that it only is exclusive and only narrowed down to these ratchet bitches. Don't think it's just narrowed down to them, because I have a brother in that situation, and she is far from being like these hood rats. She is far removed from that. She don't even really embrace her black heritage like that, to tell you the truth. My brother's baby mamas who's half black, half Mexican, so you can miss me with that. Oh, those are just the ratchet hood rats. And guess what? I look at y'all one and the same, like the Holy Trinity, and I am far from a Bible thumper. I am a deist, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you don't call out those type of women, ladies, you will naturally identify. If you do not call out and unapologetically separate yourself from them, you will naturally be identified. You cannot blame people for not being able to tell who is who and which snake is poisonous and which one isn't. See what I'm saying? When you don't separate yourself from them. See what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. And then you have these laws that were man-made that perpetuate this. Because I find this funny. There's a lot of white boys out here who talk about this MGTOW movement. But y'all didn't give a fuck about what happened when black men had to deal with the adversity they dealt with post-civil rights movement era. But when white men started to see that they were being affected by the same Frankenstein, by the same monster that they built up, now they want to be on some male liberation shit, now that it's directly affecting them. So I'm not trying to hear that bullshit. Plain and simple. Because you should have stopped this problem before it even began. You saw how things went in the black community. The black community should have been that clear testament. That should have been like the best frame of reference for why you shouldn't just give people, or you shouldn't have implemented these laws and then want to make them more in favor of women, and then these women go unchecked. So men have nothing but themselves to blame for that shit. I mean, I appreciate that there are women who do oppose it and who do call it out, but that's only a minority, it's not the majority. Because I have yet to see women do this on an abundant level. They may talk about it and gripe about it amongst themselves, but when do they publicize on it? When do they vocalize on it? I mean, you got time to do hair tutorials. You got time to go and gossip on YouTube and have these channels like Angela Yee's Lip Service. You got time to have that show with Tamar Braxton and one of them twins from that sister show. Tia or Tamara, I think it's Tamara Mowry, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't quote me on that, but the point I'm trying to make is you have all these shows out here who they will gossip about men and say how these men, especially black men, don't take accountability for their actions and don't build anything, which is not untrue. Thing is, you can't turn a blind eye to what your sisters do. That's the problem. That's the problem that I have with most people. They like to look at things from a half-ass, half-hearted viewpoint, but then expect there to be change. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Albert Einstein said it best. So, until people can own up to their actions and admit to their own failures and admit that there are people within their own demographics and groups causing these things and being able to identify and separate, shit is gonna just keep going haywire over and over. Pretty much all I gotta say right now. Peace out, people.